Hey Internet, Eric here. Halloween's coming up, so I figured I would jump into the Halloween franchise. And with part one being through word of mouth a big success, powers that be decided, let's keep this train rolling. Let's make Halloween 2. Now this came out in '81, and Jamie Lee Curtis is back as Laurie Strode. Donald Pleasence is back as Dr. Loomis. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Watch at your own risk because I do discuss plot spoilers and specific scenes. And I'll probably talk about a couple character deaths, what have you. But it's from 1981, and it's part 2 of a series of 8 films plus 2 remakes. Alright, basic plot is this takes place on the same night as the first film. We even see the ending scene from part 1, where Laurie Strode is struggling with Michael Myers. Dr. Loomis shoots Michael Myers the 6 times, and Michael falls out the window from, off the balcony from the 2nd story, lands in the grass. Loomis goes to look. Michael has disappeared. So the rest of the film, Jamie Lee Curtis, I almost call her Jamie Lloyd, other movies. Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, has been taken to the hospital to deal with her wounds, and Michael finds out, and then basically the rest of the film is him stalking her in the hospital while taking out nurses and ambulance drivers left and right, and Dr. Loomis is there to stop Michael, hopefully once and for all. Okay. Alright, let's see here. Donald Pleasence is Dr. Loomis. Fantastic. He should have got top billing over Jamie Lee Curtis because he is the star here. He is the star of this film. His acting is great. He's kind of gotten the feel of this Dr. Loomis character with his obsession over stopping Michael, knowing how evil Michael really is, and realizing that he'll go at any length to stop Michael. Anybody caught in the way be damned. Like, I really enjoy the scene where he thinks he sees, Michael on the street. And he doesn't know if it's him or not because they're roughly the same size, same age. And it's someone wearing, the Michael Myers mask. And he pulls out his gun and he's going to shoot this person. But the sheriff stops him, he intervenes. But he gave no shits. He pulled this gun out. He was going to shoot this person, be damned, whether it was Michael or not, because he's that obsessed. He's that, he's that freaked out, knowing that this killing machine is still out there doing what he's doing. And I love the paranoia, the worry, everything Pleasence puts into this performance as Loomis is great. Fantastic performance. Jamie Lee Curtis is back as Laurie Strode. Briefly, I thought she was really good in part 1. Other than the horrible whining. Go to my friend JVTV. He does a really good impression of Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween 1 with that whining, worried noise. But overall she was really good in part 1. Here, she's not given a lot to do, other than lay in a hospital bed until maybe the last 15 minutes. And that's disappointing. She's there to talk slowly because she's drugged up, she's tired, and she's sore. And she sounds like that for, she's probably in this film, how long is this? 93 minutes, theatrical version. She's probably in this film for maybe 20, if that, altogether. She lays in a bed for most of it. She talks to one of the paramedics who's got a crush on her. There's no chemistry there. But when she finally gets out, she screams a couple times. Yells, "Help me," and gets worried with Michael. She doesn't really have anything to work with. She doesn't really do anything until like the last 10 minutes in the final scene, final confrontation. And that's really disappointing. Laurie Strode is a important character in slasher movie history. She's one of the first final girls in a slasher film, and just she's there for a paycheck. She was thrown in there. You know, her character has nothing to do, and it's disappointing. She does decent with what she's given, but she's not given a lot. Let's see. The other characters, you don't care about any of them. There is the one that's got a crush on Jamie Lee Curtis, and he just, you know, sitting there to give her, you know, doe eyes. You know, oh, you know, don't worry, I'll take care of you. I will make sure nothing happens to you. They have no chemistry, and he doesn't do anything, so you don't care about him. You have the head nurse, I guess. You know, the black actress. She's there to kick, I think his name is Jimmy, kick him out when he's hanging out with Jamie Lee too much, and to just, you know, check the phones to make sure they're working, and that's it. Nothing special. You have the asshole paramedic. He's there to cuss and be crass and flirt with the pretty nurse. You don't like him, and you're waiting for him to die. You have the pretty nurse. She gets naked. That's about the best thing that she does to contribute to this film, because nobody does anything in this film because we're waiting for Michael to get a hold of Jamie for something to happen. But the problem is these characters are giving nothing, so you can't identify with any of them. Some of them you downright don't like, and it's just another disappointment with this film. Yeah, I didn't give a crap about any of these characters other than Dr. Loomis, and I cared about Jamie. You know, I keep calling her Jamie. Laurie Strode for like the last 15 minutes when she finally escaped from her room. Michael Myers is good here. He's still the unstoppable killing machine. I love when he finally gets into the hospital doors. The hospital doors are locked, and he literally walks through the doors. You know, at the end of the final confrontation, he breaks through the glass, and it's great. The gore is up big time because, if I remember, there isn't a lot, if any, blood in the first film. And boy, has that changed. We have some nice stabbing effects. We have a really nice throat slit effect. Big boob nurse, that's all I'm going to call her. She's in a hot tub, like for muscle therapy. She's with the asshole, because the hot chick always has to be with the asshole. And it's getting too hot because they're making out. So he gets out. He's going to turn down the heat. Michael takes him out. And then, of course, you do the whole thing like what happened in part 1 when Linda thought Michael under the bed sheet was Bob. Michael places his hand on her shoulder, and she starts kissing it, thinking it's the asshole guy. And Michael grabs her from behind, and he's throwing her in and out of the therapy, you know, water, and the temperature's rising to dangerous effects, and he keeps pulling her out, and her skin's starting to bubble and stuff like that with a okay effect. It's a cool death. I like it. Now, another person's taken out in a weird way. We have one of the nurses attacked, and she's killed off screen, and she's found later by another character, and she's laid out on a table with a tube in her arm, in her vein, and she's being slowly drained of all of the blood in her body, because Michael knows how to do that now. And we get a needle in an eyeball, so the gore is definitely up. Friday the 13th has already come out, so I think they're now trying to compete with the creative kills. And for the most part, it's good. It's decent. Let's see here. Score is okay. Nothing special. It's basically a rehash of part 1. I like how, since this does take place on the same night, we get a couple of returning actors that aren't Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasence. The sheriff from part 1, Sheriff Brackett, has returned for a brief, cameo. We do see Nancy Loomis is back. She plays, who was she? Was she Annie in part 1? We see her as the corpse, so that's really good continuity. I love continuity in horror films. It's few and far in between with a lot of them. So that was a nice nod. There are some problems that I have, though. And one of my main problems is how Michael finds out that Laurie Strode is in the hospital. He just happens to walk by some dude carrying a boombox that is talking about the crimes that happened in part 1, and he hears that the survivor has been taken to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. It's a good thing he just happened to be walking by that guy. I mean, I'm no writer, but that's just lazy fucking filmmaking, and I don't like that at all. I hate that. There's not much. What else can I say? Overall, the biggest thing in the world, the reveal. Because it's known through all the rest of the series that Laurie Strode and Michael Myers are brother and sister. The way it comes up it's another thing that it's just lazy filmmaking. I think they wanted to stretch out the film. It's thrown in there for the hell of it. It's a quick scene. The nurse from part 1 returns, tells Loomis about this file that has been, hidden or whatever by the state. And it says how Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers are really brother and sister, how she was born 2 years after Michael killed his older sister, and then she was given up for adoptions 2 years later when her parents were killed, and blah, blah, blah. It's dumb. It's unnecessary. You never needed Michael and Laurie to be brother and sister. It doesn't do anything in the story here. I guess it makes you realize that he's been after Laurie because he killed his sister in the first movie. So now he's trying to kill his sister in the second movie. But it makes you wonder how Michael knows. Did he find the secret file? Did he know who Laurie Strode was, even though he didn't say a word for 15 years or however long he was in the sanitarium? And then Jamie, Laurie, whatever, just happens to be having a dream where she remembers, her mother yelling at her saying, "I'm not your real mother," and then she remembers seeing Michael in a sanitarium. Stupid and unnecessary. Don't like it. I never liked the fact that they were brother and sister. Yeah. It's sad to say it sounds like there's a lot more negative than positive for this film. And that's just me. I'm not saying Halloween 2 is horrible. I'm saying it's a decent follow-up to the original. I do like I said, Pleasence's performance. I like the continuity. I like how it takes place on the same night. So if you want to put in one, you can put in 2 right after and get one long, 3-hour film. But the problems are you don't give a shit about anybody other basically than Donald Pleasence. Because Laurie Strode is not in it for maybe 15, 20 minutes. So you don't really care about her unless you had just watched part 1. You don't give a shit about the nurses. You don't give a shit about the paramedics. None of them. The gore has been upped. It's neat. I like that. But overall, and the problem is, another thing is, there's some lag in this. Lots of build-up, lots of waiting for Michael to do something. He's slowly stalking these people, but he doesn't do anything. You can lose your interest. But that's just me. A lot of people praise Halloween 2. I'll say it's just decent. Don't love it. Don't hate it. I like it. Yeah. Let's not forget Jamie's bad wig. It's not part of the story, but by 1981, Jamie Lee had already given herself that short haircut. And since this took place on the same night as Halloween, they had to find a wig so it would match. And I talked about how much I love continuity. Well, this wig looks so goddamn horrible. You just can't help but look at her and laugh every time. It's just god awful. Like, this picture doesn't do it justice, but it just looks like someone stuck a mop on top of her head, and painted the mop brown. But that has nothing to do with the story. But overall, Halloween 2, decent. That's all I can say. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell Jamie Lee Curtis. If you disagree with me and you think I'm not giving Halloween 2 enough praise, tell me down below why. I love having any type of interaction with the people here that do watch my stuff. I don't get a lot of it, only from maybe 2 or 3 frequent, frequent commenters, of my subscribers. I would like someone else's opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. Just write something down. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, click the bell. Check out my playlist for other stuff. Cheers. Oh, I do want to say one thing I will praise. The last scene. I will say, praise and grit my teeth at. How Michael's taken out. Now, when Halloween 2 came out, they thought we were done with Michael Myers. So Halloween 3, that's why we have the no Michael Myers. So they plan on taking Michael out. And it's a cool little scene where we're in a room and it's Michael, Loomis, and Laurie Strode. Loomis has already been stabbed in a kind of a neat little effect. Michael has been blinded. I won't spoil that. So Michael is swinging his scalpel around, blindingly swinging at Laurie Strode, and Laurie and Loomis are working in a way to take out Michael, and it's done really cool. It's a real cool effect, performance-wise, by Pleasence, and then a quick cut to everything from the dialogue to the stunt, and it's done really well. But then, and if you don't want it spoiled, I'm going to tell you to stop watching now. And I'm going to count down to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Michael's caught in an explosion. And you see him slowly walking out of the explosion like he's this unstoppable killing machine. But the problem is, it's so visible that you can see the flame retardant clothing, you can see the boots, you can see the gloves, and it just takes me out of it. It's like in Nightmare on Elm Street 1 when Freddy's set on fire. It's a great effect, but when you can see the protective gear, you're just like... So, that's not going to change my opinion of Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, because you get the good and the bad. They cancel each other out. But overall, I'm going to say once again, Halloween 2, decent follow-up. Blah, 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 said everything. So cheers, and it's over, Michael.